Hello everyone, my name is Nabil Tariq and I'm a technical consulting engineer with Cisco Tax and Team. Welcome to my multi-part video series entitled Configure MDS 9000 Single Switch Fabric Zoning. In part 2, we will cover the configuration steps for zoning in basic mode on a brand new single switch fabric using device aliases. This video is split into two sections, with section 1 covering the minimum prerequisites for zoning, followed by section 2 covering the configuration steps for zoning in basic mode using device aliases. Section 1, Zoning Prerequisites. The diagram shows a typical redundant single-switch fabric setup, with two physically separate paths SAN A and SAN B represented by the two MDS 9148V fabric switches. Because it's a single-switch fabric, the term fabric and the switch can be used interchangeably. On the left-hand side, you can see a physical server hosting two virtual hosts, and on the right-hand side, you have your storage array connected to redundant controllers that are dual-homed to both fabrics. From the server side, all the hosts HBA0 are connected to FC1/1 on Fabric A and HBA1 to FC1/1 on Fabric B. From the storage side, controller 1 ports are connected to FC1/2 on both fabrics, and controller 2 ports are connected to FC1/3 on both fabrics. The respective PWWNs of the devices are also shown on the switch side interfaces, FC1/1 to FC1/3 respectively. To better understand the upcoming configuration section of the video, I suggest you take a snapshot of the above diagram and view it side by side while going through the remainder of the video. Now let us move into the switch configuration. This particular model is a 9148V fabric switch running version 932A. First, we will move into the global configuration mode using the command configure terminal. Notice how I use the tab key to autocomplete the command. Next, we will enable Endport ID virtualization known as NPIV to allow for multiple logins on an F port by using the command feature NPIV. To verify, use show feature pipe include NPIV. Notice how I use the pipe command to filter the output. To see the complete output, run the command without piping. Now let's create our vSAN and assign interfaces using the commands vSAN database and then vSAN 100 to create vSAN 100, followed by vSAN 100 interface FC1/1-3 to move the interfaces to vSAN 100. To verify, use show vSAN 100 and show vSAN 100 membership. Next, make sure that your selected ports have the licenses required. Go into the interface configuration mode using the command interface FC1/1-3, shut down the ports, followed by port-license acquire to license the ports, then no shutdown to bring the ports back online. To verify, use show port-license pipe head and show interface FC1/1-3 brief. Please note that this step is optional in case of MDS 9700 line cards and some expansion modules for our fabric switches that include factory installed licenses that are not transferable. Now, before moving into the zoning configuration, verify that the end devices have successfully logged into the fabric using the commands show floggy database vSAN 100 and show FCNS database vSAN 100. At this stage, the fabric is ready for zoning. Section 2. Configure zoning in basic mode using device aliases. First, let us create our device aliases using the commands device alias database and then device alias name vh1 pwwn of virtual host 1 33333300000000 ending with 52. This command maps the alias name vh1 to pwwn of virtual host 1. Similarly, let's create other aliases. Notice how I use the up arrow key to avoid retapping the repetitive commands and modify them as needed. Device alias name vh2 pwwn of virtual host 2 ending with 53. Device alias name ct1 pwwn of controller 1 22222200000000 ending with 06. Device alias name CT2 PWWN of controller 2 ending with 07. It is recommended to use appropriate names to help identify what device alias represents. Also change the default device alias mode from basic to enhanced using the command device alias mode enhanced. Make sure to commit your changes using the command device alias commit. To verify, use show device alias status and show device alias database. Now, typically all initiators will be zoned with all the target ports. However, additional zoning may be required as per your deployed solution and your business requirements. Now let's create single initiator and single target zones as per Cisco's recommendation. This means for each virtual host, we will need at least two zones, one for each controller port. We will start with creating a zone for virtual host 1 and controller 1 by using the command zone name vh1 cte1 vsan 100, where vh1 cte1 is the name of the zone, with vh1 representing virtual host 1 and ct1 representing controller 1. It is recommended to name the zones appropriately to help identify what they represent. Once the zone has been created, we will use the device aliases to add virtual host 1 and controller 1 as members of this zone by using the commands member device alias vh1, member device alias ct1. Now let's create another zone for virtual host 1 and controller 2. Zone name vh1ct2 vsan 100, member device alias vh1, member device alias ct2. In a similar fashion, let's create zones for virtual host 2. Zone name vh2 ct1 vsan 100, member device alias vh2, member device alias ct1. Zone name vh2 ct2 vsan 100, member device alias vh2, member device alias ct2. The next step is to group the zones together into a zone set. This can be done with these commands. Zone set name san-a vsan 100, where san-a is the name of the zone set. Member vh1ct1. This command adds zone vh1ct1 as member of zone set san-a. Let's add the remaining zones to the zone set as below. Member vh1ct2, member vh2ct1, member vh2ct2. Once you have added all the zones to the zone set, make sure to activate the zone set using the command zone set activate name san-a vsan 100. And there you go. The zoning configuration is complete. The next step is to verify the zoning configuration. You can do this with these commands. Show zone status vsan 100. This command shows you the various zoning parameters, including the last known zoning status for vsan 100. You can also use the command show run zone vsan 100. This command will display the running configuration for both active and full database. Finally, use the command show zone set active vsan 100 to see the current active zone set. The static pointer shows that the device is currently logged in with the respective FCID as shown. The square brackets identifies the zoning method used, which in this case is device alias. Once you are satisfied with the changes, save the configuration using the command copy running config startup config. To summarize, below are the steps required to perform zoning in basic mode using device alias on a brand new single switch fabric. Step 1. Enable feature NPIV to allow for multiple logins on an F port. Step 2. Create vSAN and assign interfaces to that respective vSAN. Step 3. If needed, ensure that the ports are licensed, not applicable for some platforms. Step 4. Ensure that the ports are online and the devices have logged into the fabric. Step 5. Create device aliases and ensure the device alias mode is set to enhanced. Step 6. Create zones and use the device aliases to add devices as members of these zones. Step 7. Create a zone set and add the respective zones as members of that zone set. Step 8. Make sure to activate the zone set and verify the changes. Step 9. Once you are satisfied, save your configuration. And finally, step 10. Repeat the same steps for the redundant fabric. I hope this information has been useful for you and thank you for watching.